What's going on, guys? It's another episode of the MMA Complex. My name is Josh.
And I'm James.
And it is August 27th, 2018. It is a Monday night. I know we said that we were going to stick to Thursday nights, but that's,
So, yeah.
Okay.
We're going to try on Thursdays.
Fuck it.
We're
here on a Monday night. Good show for you guys. It is our 3-year anniversary this week.
Yeah.
3-year anniversary of...
Cheers.
Cheers. 3 years. 3 years of podcasting, 3 years of full-on MMA life, basically, man.
Mm-hmm.
Done a lot in 3 years. Talked to a lot of people in 3 years. A lot of memories in 3 years. It's fun. It's been fun.
I think we've done a lot more in 3 years than a lot of people are having. In
1 year.
In 1 year, we were in
10 years.
Like we're credentialed from all the major promotions in 1 year.
Yeah. We by the second year, I think we did. By the start of the second year, we did pretty much every major event in the U.S.
And judged.
Yeah, and judged, a mock judged an event. Done a lot. Talked to everybody.
That's crazy.
Max Holloway, Mark Hunt,
Tito Ortiz.
Our special guests for today for our 3-year anniversary show, we have Jon Fitch, welterweight, Bellator welterweight, now Bellator welterweight, former World Series of Fighting welterweight champion and UFC veteran. Jon Fitch is on the show. So he's here to join us for our 3-year anniversary. And also Eryk Anders, middleweight, UFC middleweight, had a devastating highlight reel KO head kick win this past weekend. Former college football athlete, went
Former,
to
Cleveland Brown.
Yeah, 12-1 split decision against Machida is pretty much his only loss. Eryk Anders on the show. So we have Stack Show, Jon Fitch, Eryk Anders, 3-year anniversary, and here we are.
Yeah, not too shabby, man, for today's lineup.
Not bad. So over the weekend you had Gaethje and Jaymz Vick, man. Did you catch those fights, or at least the highlights and all that?
Yeah, I actually recorded the event, so I gotta watch it.
It was what'd you think?
It was fast. I'm kind of glad that Gaethje won. Anthony Vick was kind of like
Jaymz Vick.
Jaymz Vick was kind of annoying with his trash talk. So
he was
happy that Gaethje kind of put him away, and it was a fast knockout for Gaethje, and it was a win that Gaethje needed, coming off a couple of losses in a row. So I'm glad that he won, and I look forward to seeing what's next for Gaethje.
Yeah, we didn't get to see a whole lot of his improvements. I don't know if he changed. From what I saw in the post-fight interviews, he really didn't. He said he didn't change a whole lot up. He was just going to be a little bit more patient, a little bit more smart with his attacks. But we didn't get to see a whole lot from him.
Yeah,
it was pretty quick. Jaymz Vick was pretty much out by the time he hit the ground. There wasn't even the aftershots weren't even necessary. He was already done. I expected maybe Gaethje to probably pull it off and get the win, but I wasn't surprised by the outcome. I was most surprised by how quick it went.
Yeah, that was going to be a back and forth kind of war.
Yeah, but the outcome itself, I figured he would probably win. Holes in Jaymz Vick's game. I mean, he's the tallest guy in the division. He's tall, lanky, quick on his feet, but he leaves his hands out a lot and his chin up, and this takes a guy like that and overhand right just to lay him out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the way it goes sometimes. And Gaethje picked up the win. You had, who else did you have? Calderwood, I think, picking up a win.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Johnson picking up a win. You had quite a few guys that needed some wins.
And that card had a lot of finishes.
Yeah, a lot of finishes, a lot of TKOs, a lot of knockouts. Yeah. Eryk Anders getting the KO head kick. Figueiredo, Barberena defeating Jake Allenberger. That was a sad one to see. Obviously Jake has been in an up and down type of thing in his whole career, basically. But always maintained a certain level of middle rank to top rank fighter. Yeah. So you got to give him that. But he got hit. He got clipped, and then he just he never found his footing. He couldn't get his feeding correct. Mm-hmm. He even kind of just all of a sudden just collapsed one time trying to get back up.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so He retired this weekend. Jake Ellenberger officially retired. Courtney Casey getting the split decision over Angela Hill. And Michael Johnson getting a split decision over Andre Fili. Pretty good card. A lot of people needed wins, and they picked up their wins. James Krause, Mickey Gall getting a win, Joanne Calderwood getting a win, Hani Yaya getting a win. So you had a lot of guys that were in need of victories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you watch Courtney Casey and Angela Hill?
Yeah, I did. I don't remember what. I know it was a close fight though.
It was a close fight. Yeah. Close, very close. I mean, obviously split decision. I thought it was super close. I would probably, just from what I saw, I probably want to go with Angela Hill. But Courtney Casey was counter punching and doing pretty good. So I didn't. I would have to watch the fight again. But I really don't disagree necessarily with the decision. Michael Johnson getting a win, much needed victory. But other than that, man, the fights were good this weekend. You had the bare knuckle fights over the weekend too.
Yeah.
Chris Lytle picking up a win over the weekend too.
Yeah,
coming back.
That's a tough one. Only because it's like those guys are gonna be breaking their hands left and right. Gloves are there to protect your hands, but also it's more dangerous getting hit with the glove because it's more impact with the glove. But I mean, without a glove, like you're prone to injury.
I only saw like highlights from the show. I didn't watch the entire show. I don't know how the production is, or the fights kind of it's like a cage. No, it's not a cage, but it's a ring, but it's like an oddly shaped ring, I think.
Yeah. Because they can't have it like an octagon because the UFC trademarked it.
And it's just stand up, bare knuckle. I think they have like a tape on their hands, but the bare knuckles are exposed. It's just around their thumb area. But I don't know. You had who was on that card? You had Joey Beltran. You had what's your name? You had Charles Bennett on the card. Crazy Horse.
Yeah, I mean a lot of veterans. Doing this, type of fighting without a glove. It's I don't know. It's hard for me to watch a veteran, put themselves
like having to go to that.
Yeah,
that's what I feel bad about.
They need it's like they're doing it for money, for a paycheck, and they know that a UFC or a Bellator won't sign them because of they're past their prime or whatever. But I mean the Bellator maybe, but they're pretty much doing it for a paycheck, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah,
knowing that and watching them going, see themselves put through that. It's hard to watch.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I'm like that I don't like about it, but I get it, is the fact that a lot of veterans are in there, and it's like at that point, if this was any other sport, as long as they were somewhat smart with their money, they would not have to be doing this. It's just guys like in combat sports, they just, a lot of them, they got to fight till they're almost like a full-time job all the way to their 50s, like to make a paycheck, to pay their bills, to do what they need. And same with pro wrestlers too. They need, a lot of them just kind of keep going because there's not a whole lot of safety net. There's no safety net afterwards. There's no pension. There's no, they're not taking care of like the NBA guys or the NFL guys, or even the Major League Soccer guys. I'm sure they get a lot better treatment once they're done.
Yeah, it's I mean, they can go like a different route. We don't have to put themselves through a fight. They can do like maybe an EBI or try to win a grappling tournament to make money. But even that's kind of hard because you're dealing with the top of the heap in jiu-jitsu. So you wouldn't get paid if you win the tournament. So
yeah,
I think a lot of guys see this as an easy opportunity to make quick money off their name.
Yeah. No, I know the name kind of scares a lot of people off, but honestly, when you're watching it, it's really not that bad to watch. It's like watching any other stand-up fight. Eventually, you either be entertained or you're gonna get bored.
Yeah.
Like the bare knuckle part is more of just like a shock factor. There's really nothing like when I'm watching it. I'm not like oh that's gotta hurt, but it's like maybe initially, but it wears off.
Yeah.
And then you have Beck Rawlings, who's become like the face of that promotion. She's headlined both cards. And she's done pretty well for herself. She holds their belt, which is I don't know what that means, but but she's done pretty well for herself over there.
It's
2
funny
victories in a
because
row.
I never knew that she left the UFC.
Yeah, yeah. It was kind of like I think when she was on that promotion when she got on the first event, I think I found out that she was like out of the UFC. I was like, okay.
Did she ask to get released, or they just released her?
I think her contract was up. I think they released her.
Mm.
I think I got to look into it, but it's got to be some. I don't think she left like willingly necessarily. If she did, I'm sure she would have went, maybe towards the Bellator type of thing. But yeah, she picked up this other promotion, bare knuckle. So that was it. What else happened over the weekend? What'd you do? Did you do anything over the weekend?
I finally finished SummerSlam. It took me a long time to finish it, but I finally finished it.
Rousey, he filled the people in about Rousey.
Yeah,
picked up the win.
she won the Raw Women's title
Yeah.
from Alexa Bliss. It was a squash match. And she was portrayed as kind of like a bully.
And squash match meaning
Oh, it was a one
you
side.
pretty much was a one-sided beatdown.
Well, one-sided beatdown, yeah, and this the way that she was like, baiting Alexa Bliss to come in, and it just she came out to be like a bully.
Yeah.
And then I don't like the way that she was crying because she was doing very like a lot of heelish things, and then I don't know, it wasn't the best Ronda Rousey match, but they put that title on her really quickly, and rumors having it, I think they could because the WWE announced an all women's pay per view called Evolution.
Okay.
And so Ronda Rousey's going to headline that event against Nikki Bella. So that's the rumor.
Not bad.
So,
Wait, weren't they retired, Nikki Bella, the Bella sisters?
yeah, but they're going to shoot it. Dean Mountain reported that they're going to do an angle, and then Trish Stratus is coming back to wrestle.
I saw that. I saw something
Bliss.
for Trish Stratus. Yeah,
that's going to be for the all women's pay per view.
Trish Stratus, who still looks good.
Good, yeah.
I would even say, I don't know, is it better than she with age?
I think she looks it's good. I think she looks pretty, and she doesn't look old.
No, like she's grown. Like her look has matured, but like she's also maintained a level of attractiveness. That just like all the way up.
I think back then her boobs are kind of
her boobs overshadowed everything
else. I think now she's more proportioned.
Yeah,
and yeah, she looks great. I mean, for her being a mom too.
Yeah,
more than one kid.
Yeah, more than a few kids.
Yeah, so she looks good.
Yeah,
she's gonna be part of this Evolution all women's pay per view coming up pretty soon.
I saw that. Yeah, so yeah, with the female pro wrestlers, I mean, look at the ones that we kind of, especially that are in the Attitude Era and in just the early 2000s. A lot of them are still around and still play a part, like Lita, Trish Stratus, Tori Wilson, Stacy Keibler, not so much. It's funny how Stacy Keibler dated George Clooney, and then she kind of got really famous for a little while.
Yeah, it's crazy seeing a WWE superstar dating an A celebrity.
Yeah, yeah. Stacy was probably my favorite. I think Stacy was my favorite. Lita and Stacy were like my favorite.
Yeah, Stacy was my favorite to look at. My favorite in-ring performer was at the time Lita, because I think her and Trish Stratus were the only two girls who could actually wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else was just eye candy.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got a lot of technical girls like Charlotte. You have like Asuka. Natalia is probably the most technical with Bret Hart's niece.
Yeah.
I don't know if we talked about Jim Denier when I heard he passed away, but that was a bummer.
Yeah, no, we did. I think he passed away.
He passed away on our last show.
Yeah, he passed away like right
that
before,
night.
just before the last show.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That day. So yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's SummerSlam over the weekend. I think I've been working just the entire time. I'm like asleep half the time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like I'm like, especially with my schedule, because I work mainly overnights now, all overnights actually.
Yeah, it sucks.
I'm asleep half the time. Like I'm like literally like indoors. I barely get any sun.
That sucks, man.
Yeah, I'm asleep, and a lot of times I wake up. I'm not even like I don't feel like even getting out of bed. I'm just like watching TV, and then I get ready and I go back to work. Within the same day.
That's crazy.
Like I leave and I go back.
That's
before the
crazy.
day's done. So yeah, that's my weekend. um,
That's sad.
Over the weekend, you had Tony Ferguson and against Anthony Pettis. That got announced for
229.
229. I think it's the same. Is that the co-main event for Conor and Khabib?
I'm assuming so.
Yeah, I would think so, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about that matchup? I mean, obviously, stylistically and in terms of Ferguson coming back so soon, a lot sooner than people thought.
I think it's a downgrade for Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was the interim champion and was supposed to fight the champion in Conor McGregor. So I think Anthony Pettis, who won, who was coming off a win, but I mean, he won and he looked impressive, but it's not like he put a string of wins in a row. So I think Ferguson's it's a downgrade. I expected him to fight someone higher ranked than
Yeah.
Anthony Pettis.
Yeah.
But it'll be a fun matchup. I think if for Anthony Pettis, this is a fight to win against Tony Ferguson coming off a leg injury. So I think if he's going to beat Ferguson, this is going to be the fight to beat him in. But
this is not easy. Even Ferguson on one leg is not easy fight.
yeah, but Ferguson, he's like a Terminator. He can throw everything. He's still going to come forward. His jiu-jitsu with Eddie Bravo is top notch. He's a great striker. He can take a punch, and I think he's going to overwhelm Anthony Pettis in that fight.
I think so too. I think conditioning, even just basic conditioning, I think he'll overwhelm Anthony Pettis. I don't see him, and I don't really see much of a chance of Pettis winning this fight unless he lands something that's just, some head kick or whatever. But he's
liver kick or something.
Yeah, but lately he has not been as dynamic. He's not. He's been more conservative with his attacks and his energy. So I don't see him. This is not a good matchup for him. I think this is running into a brick wall. But if there was a time to fight Ferguson, it would be now. I am surprised in terms of how soon he's come back. It makes me worry that he's come back so soon because I know the injury was pretty bad, and then the surgery obviously looked pretty bad. The aftermath of it, and then within 4 months of the injury and surgery, and I mean, how long was he really out for? Like,
yeah, maybe he's afraid that he's going to be irrelevant if he stays out longer.
Was it a chance? But I mean, do you? I don't know.
I think this hurts him. It's hurt him long. I mean, him taking this fight against Pettis is going to hurt him than staying out. Because if he loses that fight, it's going to be bad for him.
Oh yeah. If he loses his fight, especially, yeah. And let's say he gets hurt during training, because he came back so soon.
Yeah, I don't know. It's good. It's
I don't think there's a rush to come back. I don't know what the rush for. I mean, you got everybody else is matched up for the rest of the year. Just take the time. Maybe fight early January. Maybe sometime in January once the dust is settled with the Khabib and Ferguson or Khabib and Conor.
Yeah, it's a 4-month layoff, but I mean, who knows where he is financially?
That's true.
A lot of times these fighters they accept a bout agreement and they're still dealing with that same injury, because they need that paycheck. But who knows? I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say it's an easy fight because Anthony Pettis is no joke, but it is a dangerous fight for him.
It is. I think it's a dangerous fight. It's not necessarily an easy fight, but to me, I was like, what? There's no shame in just sitting out till like later in the year, December or something like that. We'll see if he avoids injury and hurting himself even more, and he can perform at the best of his ability. Then, hey, he's a superhuman guy. And, who are we to judge? You know what I mean? Like, although I wish I knew what he was doing. I wish I had all his tricks
of
the trade of getting back into the game. But damn, that's a quick, a lot quicker than I thought.
Yeah, for sure.
You had some drama over the weekend too with Nate Diaz and Bruce Buffer. I don't know if you caught that. We talked a little bit about that too. Bruce Buffer saying that he was upset with Nate Diaz and how Nate Diaz was as upset with the promotion and was saying that Nate should be grateful and bow down to Dana, because he's getting the biggest paydays of his career now. And Nate fired back saying, I bow down to no one. Bruce, get off the nuts of UFC. You know, like he kind of went after him real quick.
Yeah, the back and forth Twitter war. I mean, well, not even a war, but you know, uh, back and forth on Twitter. It made Nate like the baby face and Bruce Buffer the corporate heel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like like the worst thing you can do to a MMA fan, especially hardcore fans, is to say what Bruce Buffer said, and be that corporate guy. It doesn't surprise me. I think I think Bruce Buffer has always been kind of like a kiss ass.
Oh, definitely. But
Uh,
not he's never really come out so much and
I mean,
said it, you know, and like
yeah,
never.
that whole thing really surprised me. I mean, he shouldn't even say nothing about no fighter because
Yeah.
Nate can easily go after his ass. But I don't
Yeah.
know.
And
I
you make you know Nate doesn't let go of grudges or get let go of, you know, he holds on to the animosity. So it's like I
he,
don't. It's not even the place of Bruce Buffer to say anything. I don't even know why he. What he? I think he
he's
just
a
got.
ring announcer for crying sake. He's not even a
Yeah,
fighter.
and he. I guess. I think they put a camera in his face. TMZ got him in a weak moment, and he pretty much just put his foot in his mouth and just.
Well, I mean, Nate and his crew are notoriously known to make fights outside the, the, the cage. So what if
Yeah.
Buffer's walking the streets of Vegas and they run into
I
Nate and
w-
his brother? It's gonna be
yeah.
it's
I
not gonna
mean,
be
well,
good.
even look at their next event. You know, Bruce is probably gonna announce that event against Poirier, so that's gonna be pretty awkward. No.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
That's coming up in the next couple of months, and I'm sure Nate makes the rounds in terms of events. So I'm sure he'll see Bruce Buffer there. Hopefully they squash it for Bruce's sake, you know. But he really, I think, he talked out of his ass at that time. Just not even saying it, but then who he said it to.
Yeah,
Uh, you also have over the weekend Brian Ortega, Max Holloway. I think that's
confirmed, right?
almost official. Almost official for UFC 231. Um, I think this is in
Toronto, no?
Toronto. Yeah. What do you make of this? Is it glad to see that they put the match up again? I think
Yeah,
it's
I
I,
mean,
I think it's enough time for Holloway to make it. You know.
yeah, I'm happy that Brian Ortega didn't lose a spot. Like you see, a lot of times, a fighter who is a challenger, he loses the spot because the champion can't make it or for whatever reason. So I'm glad that this fight is intact. I think the UFC brass, you know, realizes that this is they have a big fight in hand. And you got two young guys in their prime fighting for a bout that I think that bout means a lot
Yeah.
because of who's holding it right now, and that's Max Holloway. And I'm more than excited for this fight. As far as my pick goes, I go back and forth on who I think is going to win. I can see both guys winning this fight. So maybe ask me when the time comes, and I'll try to pick a fight.
Once
But
it
right
gets
now,
closer to the
right
fight,
now it's kind of hard.
yeah, we'll wait till I'm down to just wait till the week of. I'm not really gonna
Yeah.
harp on that too much. Uh, you have Rachael Ostovich and um, Paige Van Zant fight announced. I mean, Rachel is up and down her UFC career, but Paige coming back after a long layoff. I think elbow surgery or forearm surgery, or I don't know what the hell. She got some implants. She's got she's been through a lot of this last year or whatever. So
Yeah.
so that fight got announced. I don't think there's a card set for that, but that's definitely a photo op right there at the weigh-ins for those two.
Yeah, like we're talking about icon in the WWE, like these two girls, especially Raquel or Rachel.
Rachel
Rachel.
Ostovich.
Rachel is probably one of the hottest girls in the UFC right now.
A little bit too much makeup for me though. No,
Yeah, that body is amazing.
the body's amazing. I mean, she could easily be a ring card girl. She really can. She's a little short on the shorter side, but she can easily be a ring card girl. But
I can see her winning this
a little too
fight. To
much
be
makeup.
honest,
I could,
I can see her beating
I could see her being,
Paige Van
yeah,
Zant.
especially Paige being out so long, coming from, yeah. But you never know. I could see Paige winning too with the name factor, the intimidation of that being on a high profile opponent. You know, Rachel's still on the up and up. You know, so
Yeah, that's true.
we'll see. Let's get to our first guest, Eryk Anders. UFC middleweight, uh, just came off a victory, a head kick highlight reel victory over it on the Gaethje Vick card. Make sure you catch that on the highlights. Go to UFC on Fox YouTube pages. So I'm sure it's there. But here is the 12-1 exciting middleweight Eryk Anders.
The old ladies give me old rub down. So.
All right. Nice. Hey, all right. She loves you.
Hey. It'll be better. We got to start there. Man. So UFC middleweight Eryk Anders, man. How's everything going, dude? I see like you're just chilling at home. Obviously, relaxing.
Yeah, man. Everything is great, man. Just sitting here. The old ladies give me a massage, so
yeah.
Is she massaging the leg that land that head kick?
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, you look good, man. You don't look banged up at all. You don't look like you had a bloody nose towards the end of the fight, but no scratches, nothing on your face. So really, unless you get a little shiner, maybe. But how you feeling?
Bridge of my nose is a little bruised up, but ain't fading nothing over here.
Yeah. So you're feeling good? Feeling good? You're looking fine?
Yeah, I'm a little sore. Definitely tell that I've been in a fight. Pop close to 15 minutes. But other than that, feeling good. No injuries, and I'm just a little sore.
That's good.
Nice.
Well, it's probably like a bad time to ask you this, but like, how soon do you want to fight after that impressive?
November, really? Lines up November. Down that November 3rd card. I'd love to get on that, but if not, then for sure that Toronto card.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So this win was just another win in the long list of your accomplishments in the sport so far. Your only blemish is really to Machida, and a lot of people gave that one to you. So talk about picking up another win and just on the run you're on right now.
Yeah, I think that every fight has a history in life of its own, and the the baggage or anything like that from the previous fight shouldn't follow you into the next fight.
Yeah. Right.
Coming off a loss, just make any adjustments that you felt like caused you that loss, and move forward, develop, continue to evolve, and take the lessons learned in the last fight, win or loss,
right,
and apply it to the next one to make you a better fighter.
Nice.
Now you mentioned November Toronto for your next fight. Is there an opponent that you have already, or you kind of just want to fight in that card?
After the fight, I called out Elias Theodoro.
Yeah,
I know he's from there, and definitely looking to fight.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah, he doesn't have to look any further.
Yeah, that'd be a good fight. And it'd be awesome to fight in Toronto because you once played for the Canadian Football League at one time, so you'd be going back to good old Canada.
Yeah, good old North. Yeah, the team I was with was Calgary. So Toronto's on the East Coast, Calgary's on the West Coast.
Calgary, man, home of the legendary Bret Hart.
Bret Hart? Oh, yeah.
I'm a big Bret Hart fan, man. Well, we both are.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
So now talk about your rise from like college football, and then get into the sport. I mean, is it something that you picked up during training, right? Or how did you get into pursue mixed martial arts?
Man, to be honest, after I got done playing ball, I moved back to Alabama, did the 9 to 5 thing. It was just bored, unsatisfied with life. So I, walked into a gym just looking to blow off a little steam, punch the bag, wrestle around a bit, do a little jiu-jitsu or something. And they just gave me a pair of gloves, told me to go spar, and I did. Fell in love with the sport right then and there.
Yeah.
Wow. Were you ever a fan before then, or you kind of just picked up during training?
Oh, yeah, man. My roommate in college actually turned me on to the UFC and MMA fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched it a lot in college. It wasn't on as much back then, but
right.
Deals and stuff. Right now, it's like I feel like right now is the best time to be a fan because it's on almost every weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, because most fighters have to kind of work their way up to get to the UFC, and here you are. I think you fought for LFA for a brief time, and you're already a big star in the UFC. So it must feel good, not only fight in the UFC but be a contender or a threat in the middleweight division.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a few more fights and I'll be there, starting with this next one with Elias Theodorou in December.
Nice.
Now, do you have like opponents picked out already? Like who's on your hit list after this next fight, or you kind of just take it one fight at a time?
Well, I mean, I have a lot of downtime in the week of the fight. You really just monitoring your diet. You only work out once or twice. Just to sweat a little bit, keep from getting stale in the hotel. Um, there's not a whole lot to do, so I'll get on there and I'll look and see who's got fights and who's trying to fight. And pick out a matchup that is beneficial to me.
And do you write like a promo out before you win, like night
Would
before?
you plan on put on something after?
I just get the name, get the idea, and when they give me the mic, I just say that person's name. So
yeah, it's smart because most guys don't even do that. They just say whoever the UFC puts in front of me is who we're gonna fight. So it's smart that you have an opponent already lined up in your head. It kind of pushes that fighter forward. So it's smart that you do that.
I'm trying to help guide my career the best. So it also makes it so I kind of have an idea when I'm fighting and who I'm.
Yeah. Now, how long did it take you to? Because you obviously come from football, and there the motto is the bigger the better. And then you come into fighting, you got to cut weight, you got to get down to 185, you got to do all this. How long did it take you to get used to the weight cut and getting used to like getting on your weight on point?
Man, not long. I think I did it the right way. First I fought at heavyweight, then I fought at 205, and then eventually made 85. It wasn't something that I rushed or anything like that. So, I this requires a lot more discipline to fight at 85.
Yeah.
When I'm supposed to eat, when I'm supposed to eat it.
Do you try to maintain a certain weight level throughout the year? So when it comes to the fight time, do you kind of just, or do you like to take, do you have fun and take time off?
That first week after a fight, I really go ham on the food. But after about 2 or 3 days, and I kind of start getting back on my diet. I may have a cheeseburger here or there, but I definitely throttle back and I'm more conscious of what I'm eating.
Yeah. Well, it must be nice to have like having a girlfriend to kind of keep you in check and feed you and give you a massage and all that. But did you guys meet like post your fighting career or before? Like, did you use that as a line to pick her up, or like I'm a fighter?
No, my wife and I met actually the night of my pro debut. She didn't even know I was a fighter. So.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Yeah. So we had met through some mutual friends who do jiu-jitsu. So.
Oh, okay.
What aspect of the sport like did you gravitate to first? Like, was it like the jiu-jitsu part?
I wrestled a little bit in high school, so I think I was more of a grasp the concepts and stuff of what they were trying to teach me with grappling and jiu-jitsu and stuff. And the striking, moving on my feet like that, is something I had never done like that. So it took me a little bit longer to catch on to the striking part.
Yeah. And like training and wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and striking, that's like a job in itself. What do you do on like for a hobby, or do you have any like what do you do for fun for your downtime?
Man, I love movies, so if I got some downtime, I usually pull up a movie on the Fire Stick or head to the movies and catch movies. Like the kids.
So no going out and doing anything crazy. You just watch movies.
I'm not much of a drinker, or too much of a partier, so I just kind of I'm either at home or at the crib.
Well, you're a married man, so watching movies is safe.
Keep it in the house, and I don't got to worry about getting in trouble.
Now, you come from, you have obviously you're familiar with the big stage, people cheering and all that. Coming into UFC and the big, having even a main event and like in South, like against Machida in Brazil, is that anything to you, or do you get nervous, or is it just like, just another competition?
Man, I just approach it as another fight, and I definitely didn't get like lost in the lights or anything like that. And I think I handled it pretty well, and didn't get the outcome that I wanted, but pretty controversial. I don't think my stock dropped, a whole bunch. So
Right.
No, not at all. I think your stock actually rose from that fight, I think.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah.
So how many fights do you think you need before you get that big title shot?
I don't know, man. I think it depends on the matchups that come my way. You can win 100 fights against unranked people, and still be unranked. So you got climb that ladder.
Yeah.
And do it like that. So I don't have a number, but however many it takes,
Yeah.
It's,
Now, do you think the fighting the ranking system is kind of silly? Because a lot of people, look at the ranking and kind of disagree with it. Like, how do you feel about the ranking system in the UFC?
it has a place. It's what get people. It's what gets you paid.
Yeah.
If you something to work for, if you want to be the champ,
Yeah.
right? Go from nobody. There's a line.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like all the interim belt stuff. It kind of devalues the actual belt. So I think they need to do away with that. And I think it's all good.
Yeah. Now, like when they're pushing fighters and you see the interim belts, is that kind of discouraging, or is that like added more pressure? Like, okay, I can't just perform. I got to like sell myself. I got to like do something crazy in order to get noticed. Like, is that just always in the back of your mind for some reason, the way they're handling belts in situations like that?
Not really, because at the end of the day, you got to win. So
yeah,
and authenticity is more important than a gimmick.
Yeah,
the fans will see that genuine person, or that guy's fake. He's putting on the front and stuff. So, and obviously, the more popular you are, the more you get paid.
Right.
There's more people that tune in to watch you. I get it. It's fair. So, do what you got to do to get paid is what I say.
Now, like, you're a big guy. Like, at some point, do you want to move up to light heavyweight, or are you content fighting at middleweight?
Man, I'm cool fighting middleweight. I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't tell you what I'm going to do in the future.
Right.
Especially the older I get. But, I like middleweight. I like fighting middleweight. I don't really struggle to make middleweight. So just like I said, it requires just a little bit more discipline, but makes it a lot easier.
Right.
Now there's like people such as yourself, athletes that come from other sports and are successful at those sports, like especially like football. We're starting to see a lot of guys coming from football, college, pro. What do you make about that? And some of them controversial, some of them not. But what do you make about that?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, man. You look at, I think that. Let's take the NFL, for example. 31 out of 32 first-round draft picks played more than one sport in high school.
Yeah.
So you're taking guys that are, natural athletes and teaching them to, the sport, the rules, how to throw a punch, how to shoot a double leg. They're going to catch on with relative quickness, and their bodies are going to be primed and tuned for explosiveness, speed, quickness, agility, and all that other, the attribute stuff.
Yeah.
So how to throw a jab properly or how to throw a cross, and it's going to be hard to deal with.
Yeah. Some of those guys, I'm sure, fight in the locker room, out at the club too, so they got their experience in before they can get in there.
I thought I could fight before I started training, but once I started training, I realized that I did not know how to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of endurance and technique. So it's easy to be a tough guy, but once you get in there, you realize really fast that you know nothing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Now, what's the plan for the rest of the year? You want to get that one in, obviously November. If that doesn't go through, if Elias, let's say, he doesn't take the fight, you're just gonna sit out. Or you're just gonna try to push for something around that time.
And I'll push. I definitely want to fight at least once more before the end of the year, So whatever opportunity comes available first is, the one I'm going to jump on.
And do you have like a plan B opponent in case plan A doesn't work out?
I mean, nah. I think if that one doesn't work out, then, they'll throw me somebody by the end of the year.
Cool.
I'm not.
Awesome, man.
All right, man. We look forward to your next fight. You're always excited to watch. Your rise has been awesome to watch, and I think you're going to be a top 5 contender pretty soon. So Thank you for being on the show, man. It's been awesome talking to you.
Yeah, and before we go, just go ahead and tell the fans where they can find you on social media. Maybe plug in a sponsor or two that you might have.
Yeah, man. Y'all can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Eryk Anders, ERYKANDERS. Shout out to our sponsors, Infinite CBD and Vitamin Energy.
Nice.
All right, Eryk. Thanks for being on the show, and Josh and I look forward to your progression in the middleweight division, and we can see you being the champ maybe early next year, man.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
all right, take care, man. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
And that was Eryk Anders, UFC middleweight. He's probably going to come back, November-ish?
Yeah.
You're saying? And living the life, man. Getting, looks like he's relaxing, having a good time, just chilling at home, getting the rub down.
Yeah, I mean, it must be nice. He looks a little.
He looked very relaxed.
Very relaxed, yeah.
Very
the CBD oil is
yeah.
kicking in.
Like that plug right there. Yeah, good. Thank you for Eryk Anders being on the show.
For sure.
Really, really chill guy, man. All the best of luck to him. You have Jon Fitch coming up soon. We're going to talk about Jon Fitch, and we're talking about Jon Fitch. We touched on a little bit with Jon Fitch and about Ellenberger retiring. Guys are making their way out, man. And what did you think about Ellenberger in terms of his calling it a day?
It's about time that he did. I think it's past due. I was expecting Ellenberger to retire a long time ago, to be honest. He's one of those guys who could never get a string of wins together. He got maybe one or two, and then he would lose.
Yeah.
And he just seemed like one of those guys who didn't really evolve as a fighter. He always had the same kind of fighting style. And you hate to see a guy get beat up and just take fights and lose. So, best of luck to him, in his life and post fighting. But I mean, I expected a while back, so I'm happy to see him go, and I wish him nothing but the best.
And we're not really. He's not for MMA fighters in terms of calling it a day. A lot of times, they'll make their way back at some point. You look at like Chris Lytle. He was out for 4 or 5 years. Now he's doing the bare knuckle thing, looking like he really hasn't skipped a beat at all, and he looks fantastic, and even physically he looks the same. So you got, you never know what's gonna. Ellenberger's still somewhat of a young guy, and I think he's had he always be one of those guys that was a contender and put his fought the best at times, and fought newcomers, and was just always a guy that just took fights. Whether he won or lost, but it's good to call it a day. I think again, it was long overdue. I think he could have probably done it maybe a year ago or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it would have been, people I think would have been fine with it, because he wasn't really improving a whole lot, taking a lot more damage than he needed to. Another one fight that got canceled since the time we last did an episode was the Yoel Romero and Paulo Costa fight. That fight is no longer happening. I think Yoel Romero was saying that he had some facial injuries in training, that the knee requires surgery. Maybe he got a cut or somewhere or something like that. So he's not looking to fight Paulo Costa anytime soon. Are you sad that fight fell out, or you think both of these guys would be okay in terms of?
Yeah,
careers?
I mean, I'm not necessarily bummed out or anything. It wasn't a fight that I was really looking forward to. I think Yoel Romero should just go to 205. To be honest,
that would be an interesting one. Yeah, it would. I wouldn't mind seeing him at 205. I think there'd be a lot more fresher matchups for him at 205.
Yeah,
interesting to see some of him against some of the bigger guys. But then 205 is very shallow.
Yeah, it's shallow, and they need a fresh face like Yoel Romero. Even though he's up there in age.
Yeah.
And I know people think that he's too small for that division, but I think his wrestling kind of makes up for his size. And his punching power as well.
His quickness, his speed.
Yeah. And I think his road to a title will be a lot quicker at 205 than at 185, where it's like stacked. It's like a traffic jam.
Yeah. And then Paulo's saying that Yo was just making excuses that he, he's just buying more time for training, or he's, just trying to look at in terms of just getting out of the fight. Maybe. I mean, maybe Yo Romero doesn't see any upside into fighting a guy like Paulo Costa right now. So he just wants the big names. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. It's hard for me to buy it that just because I think that Yo Romero is losing a payday.
Yeah.
And when you're in your 40s and you're still fighting, I think every payday counts a lot.
Yeah.
So I think maybe he's injured. I think he should just. I think 185 is a bad look division for him. I think he should just go to 205 and test the waters there.
And I know Eryk Anders was talking about fighting Elias. Now Elias, I think, is scheduled for the end of September to fight Antonio Carlos Jr. But I think they might end up taking Antonio Carlos Jr. and probably put him up against Paulo Costa. And so that would leave Elias there, to being open for a fight later in terms of the year. So it'll probably match up with Eryk Anders. So maybe he knows something that we don't. I know there's rumors of Carlos stepping up. Actually, I think he offered to step up against Paulo Costa, and I'm sure they might consider that. So maybe he knows something that we don't.
Okay. Yeah.
Or they might actually be able to make that fight against Elias Teodoro. But yeah, no, I think the middleweight division, I think, is being sorted out. You got guys like Israel Adesanya making waves in that division, Paulo Costa. So I think the top five of that division, like Luke Rockhold and Chris Weidman, who are slated to fight, I think, later this year. I think a lot of those guys, we're going to start seeing the end of their run.
Mm-hmm.
I think the new breed is kind of making their way in, and even Yoel Romero is a part of that old guard, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think in a couple of years he could be gone completely.
I think so too. So I think, yeah, and I think Mousasi, maybe it was a good thing he got out in time. Make some money over at Bellator. He's fighting Rory McDonald. So I think the middleweight division is going to be shaken up in the next year with these new guys, these new hungry freaking lions that are no joke.
Yeah, taking over the kingdom.
Yeah, you got Eryk Anders, Paulo Costa, Israel Adesanya, just creeping up towards those top five guys. I would be, if I was those top five guys, I'd be looking. I'm sure they're looking out for guys like that.
Yeah.
Let's get to our next guest, the one and only Jon Fitch, former UFC veteran, title contender. You have World Series of Fighting champ, and now Bellator welterweight and Grand Prix contender for welterweight contender. So here's our interview with the one and only Jon Fitch. I mean, no intro needed, really. Jon Fitch, former World Series champ, UFC veteran, now Bellator welterweight. Man, thank you for being on the show. How's everything going with you?
Everything's good, man. Yeah, just playing the waiting game. It's driving me a little crazy, but it's all right. There's gold at the end of the rainbow. So
yeah, right. Yeah, it's pretty funny because I follow you on Instagram, so your background is very familiar. I always see that background on your Instagram pictures.
Yeah, I got my setup. So I got another edition or two with the Guam flag and my Purdue flag.
Nice.
So
Sweet, man.
So, yeah.
Let's get back to it. So Bellator announced the welterweight Grand Prix, and right off the bat, like you're a matchup with the Bellator champ. Like, were you kind of annoyed that they set you up with Rory McDonald, or are you kind of happy just to get it over with?
No, I'm very happy because I get paid more as a champ.
Yeah.
So I'd rather I'd rather fight for the belt first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Nice. So if you beat Rory, so there's no separate title, is it the welterweight title?
The welterweight belt is up for grabs every round. Yeah.
Nice. So if you beat Rory, you beat Rory, and then you're champ the rest
of the I'd be champ, and then I got to defend it the rest of the time.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Because I was under the impression that maybe you guys get a Grand Prix bout at the end of the tournament.
That's not what my understanding is. Because I also assume, like, I still haven't got any paperwork, so like
Right.
there's still a lot of questions.
Mhm.
But I'm under the assumption that everybody's fighting 5 rounds throughout the tournament.
That's what I've
Right,
heard
yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and that's why, because the belt's up for grabs every round.
Oh man, that's crazy. Then that's like it's more dangerous doing that than defending your belt once every 3-4 months.
Yeah.
But I really like the situation because I'm getting older and I don't want to wait around for fights. So I'd rather get the belt, knock out a couple more fights right away.
Yeah.
Get it over with. Yeah.
Nice. So there's no bout agreement signed yet. You have no contracts in front of you. It's pretty much just waiting on the word, like from.
Yeah,
Bellator?
we're waiting on paperwork. My
Okay.
Crazy Bob, my manager, they said they're writing stuff up. I should see it here soon. So yeah.
Did you change your nickname recently? Because I read somewhere that's John or something.
Stylistic matchup.
Yeah, there you go.
No, that was just a joke.
Okay.
It's just a joke. I think I was on Ariel's show.
Yeah.
I was just kind of joking around.
Okay. It fits you. It's just kind of a long nickname.
It's just long, yeah.
Now you're obviously you come from a long history in MMA and you're in Bellator now. What's it like having Bellator as a home?
It's nice, man. I think they're a lot more merit-based with the fights they choose.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way they promote. It's a good feel. I like PFL was, they treated me good. The World Series fighting, they treated me good, but the fights were too far in between. There was too much confusion about what's going on, and they didn't really have the promotion side of it down that well. Most people thought I was retired. I won their welterweight championship, and everybody thought I was retired. So there's something wrong with your promotion if people don't even know who your champions are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny how things are with MMA in 2018. Like you have the UFC where the bouts are like don't mean nothing over there.
No, and they've said, and their lawyers have said throughout our the Aliak stuff and throughout the lawsuit that it's just a trophy that's bestowed on the best fighter that night. They're not world championships.
Right.
That's the UFC themselves. That's their claim. It's not a world championship.
Yeah.
It's just an award for that night.
Yeah, and it's sad because like you got the biggest promotion, and their titles don't mean nothing. They look at the PFL, and I mean they're doing well, but Bellator seems like the only promotion that does everything right. Their belts mean something, and
they're still making 140 times less than the UFC.
Right.
Yeah.
But
so it's not even a close competition. It's not
correct.
Yeah.
And
it's good to see what they're doing, but at the same time, they're not really competitors.
Right. Mm-hmm. And there's an argument that can be said that Bellator right now has the best welterweight division in MMA.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. I think it's the most recognizable. I think more people would recognize the top Bellator names than the UFC names.
Yeah. And how do you feel about getting into Bellator at this point when they have their division is built up and Coker has had the time to kind of build up their promotion?
I love it. That's one of the other reasons why I left PFL is because there wasn't really any other big names for me to fight. So I'm in this to conquer mountains. So
right.
It doesn't do me. I don't want to fight up and comers.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And with Bellator, like the second avenue is as far as kickboxing. Is that something that you want to pursue? At some time in your career, you're just happy with MMA right now?
I'm happy with MMA. I like what I do. I don't like the idea of limiting what I can do in a fight. I'm drawn to that idea of no holds barred type competition. I want to see what really works in a fight. What's really real.
Yeah.
And you can't do that when you throw a bunch of rules onto something.
Right.
Yeah. And a lot of the guys that you've come up with and a lot of the champions that you've fought, some of them are not in the game anymore. Some of them are. A lot of them are still. Looking at the landscape of who your contemporaries with coming up, like how do you feel like where you are now? Because you really don't look like you aged a day, really, since you first burst onto the scene. So you got some good genes.
Well, I mean, I think has a lot more to do with diet, nutrition, and in the past, almost a year now, I've been on a pretty rigorous supplementation program.
Yeah.
I almost retired because I was having some serious neck issues, and I was at a point where I couldn't I couldn't train the way I needed to fight at the level I wanted to.
Right.
You know, when you can only grapple maybe 1 day a week, like it's not a good thing. I switched to southpaw when I fought Jake Shields because I couldn't spar right-handed anymore.
Wow.
Because
That's crazy.
my head couldn't get hit and go back in that direction.
Wow, that's crazy.
I spent like five months switching to southpaw in Las Vegas with Master Nick at One Kicks Gym, and I started working with a guy, William Vandry, last like October or so. And he tweaked my diet just a little bit. We cut the carbs way down and cut the sugar out completely. And then he started this supplement regimen. And man, I take a crap load of pills every day.
Yeah.
I just wrote a blog, put it up on website jonfitch.net, and I listed most of the supplements that I'm taking and pretty much the volume that I'm taking right now. So you guys can kind of look at that. And it's not a small amount.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So, so before I mentioned Unify with Roy McDonald's coming up pretty soon, are you taking this training camp in a different way just because he's a young lion? You know, he's a very well-rounded fighter. Like how are you approaching this training camp with Roy McDonald?
Well, I got some time. You know, the fight could happen anywhere between November and February.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Because he's fighting Musasi in end of September. So, you know, it's a month until that fight happens.
Yeah.
And depending on how healthy he is after that fight will be the schedule for the next fight. So I'm thinking at the soonest, probably December. I'm thinking, you know, because even if Rory's healthy and ready to go, Scott Coker is going to want to promote the fight correctly. And I think that puts us more around December, I think. So I don't know, maybe a New Year's fight would be pretty great.
Wow.
New Year's in San Jose would be pretty awesome. But so my preparation right now is just get my body strong and get my body ready for training camp. That way I can put in a hard 8 weeks to 10 weeks and not have any injuries or anything nagging or bothering me throughout that time.
Are you have you considered taking another fight in between?
We tried.
Okay. They don't.
But it wasn't offered. They want this fight, and the tournament's starting, so it wouldn't make a lot of sense for me to fight before the tournament, because the tournament's starting the 29th.
So they're basically asking you to wait until Rory's available.
Yeah, they're going to take care of me though.
Okay.
I'm still waiting for a check, but
yeah.
Supposed to be taken care of to get me through to that next time, because that was one of the problems also with the last promotion was it wasn't fighting often enough.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're gonna make it okay. So yeah,
well, that's good. That's good to know. So a lot of people consider Roy McDonald like really dangerous. Like I know there's mutual respect between you two, and what do you see him as his most dangerous as far as his attack?
This is kind of funny, but I've never watched him fight.
Really? You haven't seen him fight, huh?
Wow.
Okay.
The first time I've seen him fight is I had a couple guys. I've had a few people send me links to breakdown videos. In the last week or two. So that's the most I've watched him fight.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Now, are you not big? Do you not watch the sport that you play in? Do you don't watch it that much?
So I absolutely love this sport, but you can tell I was very vocal about what was happening when I was with the UFC.
Yeah.
That it felt like things were going down a professional wrestling route, and I'm not a professional wrestling fan. If people like it, it's okay. I don't mind. You can like what you like, but that's not what I like. I don't. So to me, it's gone full pro wrestling.
Yeah. At this point,
And I'm not interested. It just does not interest me. So I like training. I like teaching. I like fighting. It's how I make my money. But chance to me sitting down and watching the fights is far and few and in between. Unless I know the guy personally, I'm probably not going to watch the fights.
Wow. How about other promotions? Did you entertain other promotions?
I'm getting into Bellator now. I'm starting to watch up and comers and stuff like that because I enjoy it more. It's funner to watch. You can see, this guy's won 6 fights. You're going to give him a big fight, rather than if this guy's lost 3 fights in a row. They're going to give him a title shot.
That's true. Yeah.
It makes more sense. Hierarchies. We're human beings. We operate on hierarchies, dominance hierarchies. So to strip us of that dominance hierarchy to watch, it robs us, and we feel empty. And I think there's a lot of people who used to be big fans that get bored of it. You know, there's like a high turnover rate for fanhood for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah.
Right. You know, speaking of pro wrestling, your teammate Kane, he was at the WWE facility, I guess, doing some training.
Yeah, he's
well,
I think it has a little bit to do with contract negotiations.
Oh, really?
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, there's absolutely zero leverage for an MMA fighter at all.
Yeah.
You have zero leverage going into a negotiation with the promoter, especially with the UFC. So, you know, Conor McGregor doesn't really have that much leverage. People like to think he does, but, you know, he's still not making, you know, 50% of the gross revenue. Like, so he's severely well underpaid. Yeah. At the most, he's making like 17% of what they're paying, what they're making. So, having that leverage, like, hey, well, give me the contract I want, or I go over here and I make more money.
Yeah.
That's the type of leverage they want. But it's a little dangerous play too, though, because the UFC, I don't think, cares. They like the high turnover rate. They want a high turnover rate because it keeps their costs down. They don't have to pay guys as much.
Right.
So they make a lot of cuts based on saving money. That was why they cut Rory. That's why they cut Masasi. That's why they've let a lot of guys go. It's just because they can bring on, you know, 10 guys for the price of that one guy.
That's true.
Right.
And to them, there's no meritocracy. So those 10 guys are better than that one guy's name because they can just put them into the, you know, put them on the cycle again. The average UFC fight career is less than 1 year.
Wow.
The average main event fight career for the UFC is less than 2.25 years.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's insanity, and that is minus guys who fought one time and were done.
Yeah.
Wow.
So those numbers are actually way lower than that.
Yeah. Well, we should like whisper to Kane's ear and tell him to join you over at Bellator.
well, you know, if they have, man, I don't know. Sometimes they have those contracts are hard to get away from.
Yeah,
you know, they're pretty thick, and they might be multiple fight contracts, and they might not let you go. You know, and they freeze your contract if you get injured or if you retire. So like they're perpetual. They're really perpetual. Wow. You're not free from the UFC unless they really let you go and they want you to go.
Now, obviously, you're really a big advocate for fighters' rights and all that. Are you surprised that a union hasn't shown like a really strong? You know, we've seen examples of it pop up here and there, but they've all kind of crashed and burned. I mean,
part of that I think is we don't get any support from the journalists. We don't. The media doesn't support us in any way. They ultimately prefer the UFC monopoly. And they don't want to see that disrupted. And part of that is because a lot of them have cushy jobs, and they don't actually want to have to compete to keep their jobs. Yeah. They would rather be locked into their position and be PR agents for the UFC and keep their jobs rather than actually, you know, like competing against guys like you, grassroots guys who have, you know, with technology and today you can go around. There's no more middlemen. You can go right to it. Yeah. You can contact the fighters directly. You can put up your own show. You don't need the promotion or anything else, and you can ask hard questions. You can talk about money and fighters' pay, but these other guys, they can't do that. And I think they're just you know, grateful that they have their positions and they don't want to lose them.
Yeah.
Do you see a union forming before your career is over, or?
Well, I mean, it's got to be an association. You can't do a union because you can't have collective bargaining with one owner. Yeah. There's no leverage. What leverage are they going to have? They'll just wait until your fight career is over with. It's average less than a year. So like they just have to wait you out. Like the only way that they would have any power is if they would actually strike. Well, who's going to strike?
Yeah.
Like which one of them are going to strike? Who's going to lead the strike? Which group of fighters is going to say, "Hey, we signed a contract saying we're going to fight on this night, and then we're not going to show up." Yeah. So first off, that's illegal because they're independent contractors, and you signed a contract to fight that night. You're not an employee, so you could fall under some serious litigation for that. And then again, the guys aren't making that much money. You're making 10 and 10. You're going to strike on that. You're going to strike and then not show up. The undercard's not going to show up. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Yeah.
And the guys on the other end who are making okay money, they're still getting ripped off big time, but they're making, you know, six figures. Well, you know, those are big breadcrumbs. Those are big chunks of breadcrumbs. So like they're not going to risk their big breadcrumb and go starving. Like people have seen what's happened to me. They've seen what's happened to other guys who've stood up and fought. And, the scare tactics have worked.
Yeah. Now, do you think getting more like maybe experienced professionals like from like the legal side or like the agent side, I don't know, that can come in and offer advice? Do you think is it hard finding those type of people?
It's going to take just some committed people to keep pushing it politically because of the high turnover rate. Now you have younger guys who have just bought into the pro wrestling system, and they're like, this is the way it is. I support it. I'm going to dominate in the pro wrestling system. So it's really hard to convince the younger guys, like, hey, you're going to get ripped off. And then by the time they figure it out, they're already on their way out, and then it's too late. Yeah. You know, I mean, it sucks. Like with Leslie Smith, like what's happened with Leslie Smith? Like she's completely disappeared.
Yeah.
Is she ever going to fight again? Maybe not. You know, and then like that's a clear example to all the younger guys. Hey, don't go down that route. Don't fight us. Just go with it.
Yeah.
Wow. That's sad. That's really sad.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, is that things would change overnight if the fighters just came together and said, yeah, hey, we want this, we need this. If they came forward and stood up and supported the class action lawsuit and supported the Ali Act, and then joined the Fighters Association. Because the Fighters Association, once we have enough fighters, the fighters are the ones who vote and decide how things are operated, how they want things to go. It's nobody is already the president and calling the shots. You know, we have a steering committee, but we can be voted out of our position at any time. We just need the people to sign the dotted line and commit.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, it's difficult. People are scared. It's a fear thing.
Right. Yeah. It's sad. It's what Brandon Schaub said, earlier this year, that Dana White's a bully pretty much, and he uses scare tactics.
I mean,
to
it's kind of all show business. I mean, how many these like new Me Too stuff? How many people have been raped in Hollywood? How many children have been abused?
Yeah.
You know, it's the same type of thing. These people have power and they can make you do what they want. I'm still waiting for the Me Too UFC stuff to come out, because I've heard all kinds of stories.
That'll be really interesting.
All kinds of stories about ring girls and people getting hired and fired for different reasons.
Yeah.
And it's all hearsay, but man, some of that stuff sounds pretty legit, and I'm just waiting for somebody as soon as one person speaks up, everything's
it's gonna be a domino effect for sure.
Do you think the sport, because obviously there's a lot of people that get into the sport like Greg Hardy or any of these guys, where I think because they're on the outskirts of, because the sport is still kind of on the fringe of mainstream sports. It's there, but it's not like NBA or NFL or whatever. That they can get away with hiring guys like that. They get away with some of the more controversial stuff.
Yeah, I think, they've gone the full entertainment route, so it is a lot different. And that's the thing that I always criticized in the past, is like, I didn't like the way they were pushing the sport. Like, why can't we be looked at and operate like NBA or NFL?
Yeah. Like,
those guys wear suits, they're respectful. You don't need Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, calling their mothers names.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You don't need that for it to be a good game. That's purely pro wrestling gimmick, and I'm not into it. But it sells on a small level now.
Yeah, that's true. Now, you've been around in MMA for a long, long time, John. Do you see yourself, retiring pretty soon? Do you, still feel good enough so you can compete for the next 5 years or so?
I'm taking it one fight at a time. I feel good right now. I feel good for the next fight. And,
you look good, man.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. My body's feeling good. I've taken care of the neck issue. I mean, it's not completely gone, but as long as I stay on my exercises and my supplementation, I keep my diet clean. It feels good, and I'm grappling and sparring and feeling good. And I'm happy to be in this situation where I get to fight for another title.
Yeah, you look great, especially against Paul Daly.
Yeah, we're there in attendance.
We were there in attendance. We were there.
Awesome.
You look fantastic in there. You look like you haven't skipped a beat. Really.
Yeah. It was really impressive.
Yeah, feeling good, and it's good to be back at AKA and with all the savages there. Yeah. Good atmosphere, good mindset with everybody. I'm just looking to keep beating on people, and I'm hoping to get this belt and then defend it, and we'll see what happens from there. I've got I think 4 more fights my 4 or 5 fights on my contract left with Bellator.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So, I'll probably try to finish those out and then see how I feel. I don't know. What's his name? Just fought at 51 over in ONE FC. Gracie. I came with him.
Oh, Henzo.
Henzo. Yeah, Henzo. You know. So, like, who knows what the future brings?
Win too.
If somebody wants to pay me $100, $150, $200,000 to fight somebody when I'm 50 years old.
Talk about a ONE FC guy like Ben Askren. Is that somebody that you would be interested in bringing?
Yeah, over? That'd be a good, interesting fight.
That'd be an awesome fight. Yeah, that'd be wow.
I don't know if he's even interested. He's spoken that he pretty much only wants to fight GSP or fight in the UFC if he comes back.
Yeah.
He's been real smart with his money, and he's been making money from his wrestling programs and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and I think he's got a time limit. I think he said 33. He's done. I think or something like that.
Is that a whole? He's only 30.
He's not even 33 yet. Yeah.
Children. He's children.
That's crazy. Are you excited for Captain DC and Brock Lesnar?
I'm excited for DC to get a payday. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he deserves everything that he's getting right now.
Obviously, the politics not so much, but
the fact that it's Brock. It's Brock. As a sport, the fact that you take the greatest heavyweight ever.
Yeah.
Who's held the belt in the UFC loses in a quick fight with a he got clipped with a good punch. And you don't give an immediate rematch. The same thing with Jose Aldo with Conor. Like it's I don't know. It takes away the drive to achieve. Like if nothing matters, if winning and performing doesn't really matter, if it's just how much money they make off of you or how many tickets you sell. I mean,
talk about pro wrestling. Like that whole when Brock came in the cage and that whole promo that he cut. That was solely. Scripted.
Yeah. So it's not my not my thing. But they've done a good job. I mean, that's what they've been doing this whole time is promoting and pushing towards pro wrestling fans.
Yeah.
If you look at boxing, the boxing fan base versus the MMA fan base, there's hardly any crossover.
Yeah.
Like MMA fans barely watch wrestling or barely watch boxing. The only boxing they watch are the really big events.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They don't watch any of the smaller stuff. But boxing viewership is way, way higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But where there is a huge crossover is pro wrestling and MMA. It's almost identical.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people say that MMA. It's an evolution from pro wrestling.
Yeah, and we see a lot of MMA fans that watch pro wrestling regularly. Like he does for sure more than I do.
And that's what's interesting about that is there's a court case of the U.S. government suing I can't remember what the promotion was, but it was a pro wrestling promotion because that promotion was signing guys to exclusive contracts and they control the title. That's federally illegal. That's an antitrust violation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The way they got out of that lawsuit is they had a secret meeting with the government and told them, hey, these are fake matches. We set these up ahead of time. And because it was pure entertainment, they dropped the class act. They dropped the antitrust suit. That's the exact same business model that the UFC is following now.
Yeah.
So if it was illegal then, why is it legal now?
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
That's crazy, man. Oh man! All right. Are you going to be in attendance on the 29th?
I assume I will be. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they'll be there. So, I don't know if they're going to bring me in to cut a promo in the ring.
Do it, John.
I also, you should do it. Push for it.
I'll have maybe I'll do a Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Just bring a chair. Just bring a chair.
Smash it on my head.
Do something crazy.
The beer around.
Spray paint something.
Ultimate Warrior spray paint.
Something, man.
Well, I hope to see you there. I think we were going to be there in attendance for sure. So hopefully we'll get to meet in person. And
cool, man.
Thank you for being on the show, man. We really appreciate it. Dropping a lot
of
knowledge.
Thanks for having me. Have everybody check out jonfitch.net. I got all my stuff up there. I got my Fitch Smash gear. You can just click the links. Everything's up there. I got some blogs. Got a blog series. I'm actually turning the blog series that I put up on my website. I'm working on putting that into a book now.
Awesome.
So hopefully I'll have a book out for people by the end of the year.
Awesome.
talking about the early days of AKA and my early start.
Yeah. What in terms of your fans, like what is it like the most common like question or whatever they ask you all the time? Like, what do they always bring something up to you?
Not really,
Like
man.
an old fight, anything like that?
I get the everybody loved the GSP fight and Eryk Silva fight. Everybody always comes up and talks to me about those things.
Like I was about to say the same thing, John. It was a pleasure and an honor because I remember as a kid, watching that GSP fight. As a kid,
we're pretty old too, though.
We're pretty old too.
We feel like I think we were like we're not too far in age from you, so it's like
I love it though. It's man, I never felt older. I was doing some security or I was doing some appearance work actually at a strip club last New Year's, whatever, in Vegas, and one of the girls came up to me and goes, "Oh my God, you're my favorite. I used to watch you all the time when I was a little girl."
Oh man, that's sad.
I was like, "Oh,
you look good. So don't worry about it, man." But it's been a pleasure, man. It's crazy to watch that fight, and here I am, speaking to you. So it's really an honor, and we really appreciate your time. Best of luck.
No worries, man.
With that
good talking to you guys. Keep up the hustle. I like it.
For sure,
it's awesome, man.
Thank you.
And
do what you're passionate about.
Yeah, man. Best of luck with that Rory McDonald fight. And if you want, you can always send Josh and I some of those cool Jon Fitch shirts, man. We'll wear them.
All right, man.
All right, John. It was a pleasure, man. You take care. Have a good night.
All right, guys. Take it easy.
Take it easy. And that was Jon Fitch. Great guy, man.
Awesome. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, we're big
dropping knowledge
fans, of his, and it was surreal. But it was
post-fight career should be a lawyer.
Post-fight career for a fighter or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
go in there and negotiate.
Props to John for taking the interview. It was awesome. It meant a lot to us. So thank you, John.
Yeah, it did. It really did. When he said yes to agree to come on the show, I think we were both excited. It was like,
and nervous.
Yeah, because we hated to make him feel old, but I mean, he's been around for, since we've been watching, like really, really watching it, regularly and religiously for a long time. We started seeing MMA around the time that he started his career.
Yeah, I think that GSP fight was 2009, maybe.
Yeah, but he had long been in 2003, 2004. He made his around that time, maybe 2005. Maybe he made his debut.
Yeah.
2005, I think.
Yeah, I think that was when the Ultimate Fighter 1 was being filmed.
Yeah. So I mean, we've been on the Jon Fitch. We've seen his career for the longest, and that's why we're bringing it up. Because a lot of these guys that we grew up watching, it's just, who were the young guys at the time, or like Rashad and all them. They're making their way out, and it's just crazy. Makes us feel old.
I
told John we were like around the same age as him, so it's like, don't even worry about it, man.
That's right.
Yeah, but we're not too far away from you.
Yeah. And when Anthony was pretty good for a damn age, so.
Yeah, and he looks. I mean, for being 40, he looks fine. He looks fantastic in terms of not fine. It's a weird way to put it. You know what I mean? but he looks in good condition.
Yeah.
Good condition. Let's see. Last thing. I don't know if you want to touch on this. It's kind of a bummer topic to touch on, but I don't think we spoke about it last time we were here. Or we might have. Did we talk about Andrea Lee's husband?
Yeah, that's what we did. Yeah.
On the run? He's on a run and all that shit? Okay. Because she released a statement recently. So basically just saying she needs time away and stuff like that. I was just looking at that right now. I was like, did we talk about that?
Yeah, we did.
I think that's it, man. So there, in terms of fights this weekend, there's not a whole lot. Not a whole lot of you think you have PFL this Thursday. You have Dana White Contender Series tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. Yeah, 31st. What's tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah,
I think it's tomorrow.
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
No, we got some time. 31st is like Thursday, I think. We usually do it on Tuesdays, but. Oh, this is the Brazil one. They film it on a different day. You have Cage Warriors, and you have Invicta this weekend. So it's a good night of, smaller promotions, but a good weekend of fights. So you still got something to watch. Until then, go to MMAComplex.com. All your things MMA Complex, and thank you for enjoying the show.
Yeah,
Thank you for listening.
You can follow us on social media. You can follow me on Twitter, MMA Complex James, MMA Complex Josh for him. And you can follow the show on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook under one name, the MMA Complex. Check out our store. You can buy our new T-shirts there. And as always, you guys are watching or listening on iTunes, go ahead and give us a 5-star review to help the show get noticed. But yeah, it's small, quiet. I mean, somewhat quiet weekend in MMA. We'll see you guys next week for hopefully a guest or two. If not, it will just be me and Josh. So until then, enjoy the fights and enjoy your week.